Okay, let's talk about the storm brewing in the WNBA right now. Because wow, it's messy, dramatic, and borderline cinematic. The Indiana Fever just made a roster move that sent the entire league in the for conspiracy theory mode. Out goes Kyra Lambert, a solid player in her own right. But that's not what is everyone's group chat on fire. It's who might be coming in at his fans, analysts, and Twitter detective spiraling. Caitlin Clark, yes, that Caitlin Clark. If you're here for the real story and not to filter version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. The rookie sensation, generational talent, and walking ratings boost, who's been sidelined for most of the 2025 season with groin injury that had everyone on edge. She hasn't touched according weeks, and suddenly the Fever clears roster spot. Yeah, this isn't just a routine shuffle. This smells like a setup for a comeback, and not just any comeback. The comeback, you can practically hear the league collectively holding its breath. Now let's back up for a second, because context is everything. The Indiana Fever have been struggling, to put it mildly, with Clark out. The often does look like a group project where no one showed up. There have been flashes of brilliance here and there, sure, but consistency nowhere to be found. And as a postseason looms close, sir, the pressure perform is squeezing this team like a soda can in a hydraulic press. Enter Kyra Lambert, sign on a hardship contract, brought in as a stopgap, the patch over the missing pieces. But the moment she was waived, alarm bells started blaring, not because it was unexpected necessarily, but because of who they might be making room for the math ain't matting unless you factor in Caitlin Clark. The Fever have confirmed anything outright classic misdirection. But the vibes are screaming, and you don't need a WOJ bomb to know something big is coming. But let's be real for a second, is it too soon? The groin injuries are no joke. You can't take it up and hope for the best like a jam finger. It messes with your mobility, your explosiveness, your rhythm, everything. Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. She's the WNBA golden goose right now. She's a kind of talent leagues dream about, record-breaking college number. As a fan base that rivals pop stars and more media buzz and Arrested League combined. So she's coming back, especially now, especially with a Fever about to face the Minnesota Lynx of all teams. Then there better be a rock-solid reason, because the Lynx aren't as lead there, out here terrorizing other teams they play. A defense like they're auditioning for an action movie. You want your star rookie, fresh off an injury, to return against them. It's giving risky. But here's the thing, the WNBA is desperate for Caitlin Clark to return, and we don't mean that in a shady way. It's just facts. Clark moved the needle. Ratings skier. Pocket arenas sell out even, or warm-ups get more views. An actual game. Sometimes she's not just a player, she's a storyline, a walking headline. So now imagine the Fever being stuck in playoff purgatory without her. The math starts making a dangerous kind of sense. Do you wait until she's went under, be sent, or do roll the dice and hope 80% of Caitlin Clark is still better than most players at full strength? The whisper started gaining traction after Scott Agnes, a well-respected WNBA insider, dropped a cryptic update. Clark's return to be just weeks away, maybe in the end, the regular season. Not exactly confirmation, but not a denial either. And then came the Fever's move. One player out, one slot open. Coincidence? No one's buying that. The Fever's front office had been walking a tightrope ever since Clock went down on one, and they want to protect their franchise player, and let's be honest, their financial future. On the other hand, they got fans screaming for a miracle, TV execs pacing, and a season slipping to their fingers. Every decision they make is now interpreted to the Clark lens. They couldn't out a new team towel design and some woods Say, is this a signal and social media fully unhinged fan account analyzing practice footage like us as a poodle film? Someone swear they saw Clark sprinting in the background. Another is breaking down her IG likes. There's even a thread speculating that Fever's mascot recent tweet, yes really, Lee, hinted at a return. This isn't just basketball anymore. This is a full-blown cultural event. But for all the excitement, there's a real fear buried in the frenzy. What if she's being rushed? We've seen this movie before. A star comes back too soon, gets injured, and suddenly everyone's pointing fingers. Team, the league, the media, even the player herself. The narrative flips instantly from heroic return to reckless miscalculation. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Clark's career. It's about the Fever's credibility, the WNBA momentum, and a delicate balancing act between drama and disaster. Because here's the unspoken truth no one wants to say out loud: the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark more than she needs them right now. Without her, the hype dies down, the casual fans vanish, the storylines fade. It's not fair, but the reality of being a player, she's carrying a league on her back before she's even finished her rookie year. And if she does come back against the Lynx and drop 30-0, you already know the narrative will explode. Instant legend status. ESPN will replace every crossover like of the moon landing. There'll be think pieces, viral clips, interviews, merge drops, you name it. But if she comes back and struggles, or worse, gets hurt again, the discourse will be brutal. The should-have-waited crowd will come out swinging. And the WNBA, which is bit so heavily on Clark is their messiah, will suddenly find themselves answering some very uncomfortable questions. Still, this is the gamble the Fever seem ready to take. Maybe she really is ready. Maybe they've been extra cautious behind the scenes, and now's the time. Maybe the timing is just suspiciously perfect, or maybe they're hedging everything on one last desperate Hail Mary, because a Fever season, it's hanging by a thread. A few more losses and is lights out. So if there's even a chance Clark and play there, would take it. When you were witnessing something wild here, not just a sports story, but a moment where business, fandom, and pure chaos collide. The Fever aren't just managing roster, they're managing the net. Creative, and right now the narrative is screaming for a hero. So as a clock ticks down and Fever face a juggernaut that has Minnesota, all eyes are on at MT roster spot. One name, one player, one comeback. They could flip the script for an entire league, and whether it ends in triumph or tears, one thing for sure, the Caitlin Clark show is about to resume, and everyone's watching. So what you think? Should a Fever bring her back now, or wait until she's 100%? Are they playing smart or playing with fire? Drop your thoughts below, because you know the saga is far from over. And if you are more chaos, drama, and questionable decisions delivered straight to your screen, don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting started. See you next meltdown. Oh, we're not done, because the deeper you go into this Caitlin Clark Fever situation, the more tangled it gets. What looks like a straightforward "she's back" narrative is actually the tip of a very dramatic, very high stakes iceberg. Let's get into it. Here's a team, Indiana Fever, that came into the season knowing what Caitlin Clark represented. This isn't just the top draft pick we're talking about. This is the most hyped women's basketball player in decades. She walked into the league with more fanfare than some entire franchises. Ticket sales exploded. Merchandise sold out. Opposing teams literally move arenas just hand the crowds. When Clark came to town from the jump, the Fever weren't just rebuilding, they were rebranding. And then boom, injury. The groin strain hit early in the season, and suddenly the momentum that had been building for months so get it into uncertainty. Everyone from fans, the Fever staff, to WNBA execs went into damage control mode, and understandably so, because without Clark on the floor, the Fever reverted back to the same issues as last year, struggling with ball movement, inconsistent shooting, questionable defense. The kind of basketball that only diehards were sticking around for. Meanwhile, the league's golden storyline, Caitlin Clark versus the world with bench So now every move the Fever makes it's under a microscope. No exaggeration, you think we're being dramatic. The team can now. They've signed a new water boy, and people be like, ISE carrying Caitlyn comeback drink. That's the level of obsession we're dealing with. So in Cairo, Lambda got wave again, not a headline grabber under normal circumstances. It triggered a full-blown wave with speculation because of Clarksdale weeks away. Why clear spot now? Who else are they planning to bring in this late in the game? And why do it right before they face the toughest team in the league? The Fever are playing chess, or at least they think they are. But are they winning? That's another question entirely, because remember, if Clog does return, she's not walking into some friendly feel-good take your time situation. She's walking into a pressure cooker. This team needs her to be Caitlin Clark, the savior, to score the spark, not Caitlin Clark just getting back into a rhythm. That's not fair, it's not healthy, but it's real, and it's made worse by the fact that has kind of hitched his wagon to her success, like fully latched on. You can feel in the promos, the scheduling, the media coverage. She's not just the future they've made her to present, which means if she struggles, so does the league's momentum. Now let's zoom in on a fan response, because while it's something Fever fans are split right down the middle. On one side, you've got the hopefuls, people who think this is it, that Clark is about to walk back on a court and turn the season around like a real-life sports movie. These are the folk for the jerseys, the custom posters, the Caitlyn save signs ready to go. Then there's the skeptics, the one saying, are we really risking long-term health for a long-shot playoff push? They've seen this play out before. Athletes push return early only to and about even longer. And they're not wrong to be nervous. The Fever barely clinging to postseason hopes. Is it worth gambling with your franchise player, his body? This isn't just a coaching decision anymore. It's a pure minefield and behind the scene. And you know the vibes, or tense coaches watching every practice, rip trainers monitoring every stretching sprint, execs checking ticket sales and TV ratings like their stock prices because of Clark plays. And the team wins even just one big game, it's ensign vindication. Suddenly, they're brilliant, strategic, bold. But if she limbs off their court again, you hear the criticism before the game even ends. And let's talk about Caitlyn herself for a second, because do all this noise, she's the one who actually has to play. Can you imagine the weight on her shoulders right now? She's not just rehabbing a groin injury. She's carrying a franchise, a league, a movement in women's sports. Everyone wants her to succeed, but not necessarily for their team, their ticket sales, their media coverage, their narrative. That's not just pressure, that's suffocating. And yet, if anyone can handle it, it might just be her, because this is the same Caitlin Clark who dropped 40-point triple-doubles in college like it was nothing, the same player who shot logo threes with the kind of confidence you usually only see in video games, the same one who made basketball cool again for fans who hand-tuned in for years. She's built for drama, but that doesn't mean she deserves it every second of a rookie year. So as a Fever gear of it is absolutely brutal stretch facing playoff teams, hostile crowd in their own inner chaos. The question isn't just is Caitlin Clark ready, it's are we ready? Because the moment she steps back onto that court, it's not just a comeback, it's a full-scale event. Your receipt, countdowns, live streams, think pieces, opposing teams locking in every missed shot will be analyzed. Every made basket will be a headline. This is what happens when sports meet spectacle, and is not slowing down anytime soon. So here's your moment, WNBA. Here's your chance to turn this into something unforgettable. But be careful what you wish for, because if you put all your eggs in Caitlin Clark basket, you better hope she's not still limping. In a perfect world, the Fever would let her ease back and give her light minutes. Lear find her groove without needing to be the hero from the jump. But that's not what's happening. If she returns, it'll be with the entire sports we're watching and expecting, which makes us feel less like a basketball game and more like a high-wire act. No net, no margin for error. And don't forget the most Woman that official Clark is back alert drops. The entire landscape of the lead shift matchups get reevaluated, ticket prices go up, broadcasters lose their minds, and everyone who's been sitting on the sidelines suddenly tunes in because, like it or not, Caitlin Clark is a storyline. The WNBA might be a league of stars, but she's a sun right now and everyone else is just orbiting. So here we are waiting, watching, speculating. Is his roster moves sign a decoy, a setup for something bigger? Either way, the clock is ticking, and when that spotlight hits, it won't just be on Caitlin, it'll be on all of them. Indiana, the WNBA, the fans, the critics, everyone who helped build this moment, and everyone who have something to say the second it goes wrong. So buckle up, the comeback to be days away, or could all be smoke and mirrors. But one thing for sure, my comes a drama. The fever never disappoint you or Moro. We're still spiraling, because as wild as a sock already is, it somehow keeps getting wild the longer use it with it. We've talked about the fever speculation, the mounting pressure, and the possible return Caitlin Clark, but we haven't even touched a full absurdity of what happening off the court. Because let's be real, the WNBA isn't just riding the Caitlin Clark train. They built the entire station around her, from marketing campaigns to sponsorship deals, the last-minute broadcasts, changes the league's been reshaping itself around. Is one player like it's some sort basketball Hunger Games, and ever time there's a whiff of a comeback, the machine kicks into overdrive. Suddenly, there are insider sources, presidential battles, player interviews getting yanked, 4 o'clock focus coverage. And let's not forget the entire economy that seems a rise and fall base our injury status. No, seriously, merge companies are refreshing their shop of eye dashboards. StubHub scalpers are typing with trembling hands. Local bar owners are ordering extra kegs in anticipation. That's the kind of cultural weight we're talking about. This isn't just about point on the scoreboard, it's about commerce. And let's pause and give out a quick unofficial award while we're here. Most delusional fan theory the week goes to the TikTok that suggested Caitlin injury was a PR stunt, build hype for a late season return, like you've been secretly scrimmage in a private gym somewhere waiting for the perfect moment to storm back on a court in slow motion with a fog machine. You can't make this stuff up, except some people do, but even the unhinged corners of the internet are on to something, because of fever silence. It's loud, no real updates, no definite timelines, no she's ruled out confirmation, just breadcrumbs. And when you starve a fan base of information for long enough, they start turning every vague tweet into prophecy. You know it's getting bad when someone's cousin's roommates as he saw Caitlin jogging and a hoodie, and suddenly it's front page Reddit speculation. That's where we're at now. Don't get it twisted, this kind of hype is great for the lead until it isn't, because when the narrative you're writing is that one woman is the key to everything, you better pray she lives of the mythology you created, and if she doesn't, the fallout will be biblical. We're talking disappointed fans, cancel flights, jersey burnings, ESPN panel suddenly pivoting to, is WNBA overhyping its stars? Debates. It takes years to build this kind of buzz, and one bad game to start unraveling it. You can already feel the tension creeping in. Other players start voice it's certainly or not so sad. Lee, the subtext we're here to, and they're not wrong. The league is full of talent, absolute dogs. Brianna Stewart, Isle Wilson, I go gumbo. They've been grinding, building this league brick by brick for years, and now they're getting pushed out a headline by a rookie who hasn't played 8 in weeks. That's gotta sting, even if they don't say it outright. So now we've got this strange dynamic, the fever banking everything on Caitlin Clark return. The league is shaping, and I did you around her. Any other players are stuck in this weird limbo of we support her, but also what the hell. Meanwhile, Caitlin is probably just tried to get through a practice without reactivating her groin. And oh, let's not forget the media circus that will descend the second you confirm return. We're talking cameras in the parking lot for page spreads, make tub warm-up, slow motion close-up of our tying her shoelaces. The fever could win the game. And the post-game report would still be how to Clark look, not what did Indiana do right. It's go be all Clark all the time, which again is a lot to place on someone who's still in her first professional season. We've seen what that pressure does the players. Expectations get inflated to impossible levels. The moment they're human, even slightly, people turn overrated, not worth the hype. System player, the takes will come fast, and they'll come brutal. But let's be honest, if anyone tries and being underestimated and overhyped the same time, it's Caitlin Clark. She's built for this. She's been doubted, celebrated, criticized, and idolized in college. She talks trash like a seasoned vet. She hits logo threes with no hesitation. She's fearless still. Even superheroes need time to heal. And while the Fever may see her as her last shot at redemption this season, that term investment, that generation legacy, everyone talks about it, only pays off if you don't break her in year one because of the rush her back, and she really enjoys herself, or even just looked shaky and burns out. It won't just be a last season, it'll be a lost opportunity for her, for the team, for the lead. Maybe that's why this whole situation feels like it's teetering on a knife's edge. There's so much riding on his, and no room for missteps. Every day that passes without an official announcement only makes the speculation louder. Is she coming back this weekend? Will she sit out until the playoff? If the Fever even get there, are they bluffing to throw off up Conant? Is she already cleared but waiting for the right game to return? There are no answers, just vibes, and right now the vibes are straight chaos. You can feel the fan base emotionally pacing in a hallway somewhere. Every game without her is another reminder of how fragile this whole setup is. Every minute of silence from a Fever is another chance for fans to spiral. And hey, maybe that's part of plan. Maybe the team wants the mystery. Maybe they think the suspense will build even more buzz. Maybe they think if they keep the crowd guessing, it'll turn every game and a must-watch TV. Just in case, this is the why one, but eventually the guessing game has the curtain has a lift. And when it does, the expectations will be sky high. So here we are on the edge of most anticipated return and the WNBA of the season possibly ever. And the only thing we know for sure is that no one knows anything for sure. Or Caitlin Clark might be days away, she might be weeks away. But the moment she comes back, whether it's in a blaze of glory or slow, cautious rollout, it's gonna shake the league. And whether you're